one that everybody can hear us. Oh, wow. Let's adjust the camera. This is a live. Welcome to 1111. I'm Mama D coming at ya. How you doing? All right, you guys. I got notes. We'll wait for the live. Okay, whoa, whoa, whoa. How you doing? I have the echo. How do I do this? All right, hold on. I gotta get chat back. How are my beautiful starlights? Let's see who I've got so far. Dixie Bishop, Deborah Martina Lewis, Jacqueline Keeley, Jenny, my beautiful Pez, and thank you for the blessings and to you as well. And the Chronicles of, let me make sure I say this right. Ethothlin, the Chronicles of Ethothlin, maybe. I hope I said it right. Krita Sign, love and light. Good to see you. Cat H, Pez again. Hello. Laura Williams, very cool, from South Florida. Jennifer McLaughlin, Jacqueline Keeley. Hi, everybody. You guys, I got notes. Like, I'm so glad we're having this little me and you talk. My mind went into overdrive. I don't know if it has to do with the new moon energy in Gemini, and I'm a Gemini, or what. But the downloads and information, it's powerhousing my brain. So it's all about the time. If we go back before this case existed, I had broke down another case that had corruption in it. Okay? And in that, it all broke down to be an obscure timeline. And I think we had that in the Summer Wells case. And all these unsolvable cases have in common is that they're missing giant gaps of time. What do we have? Idaho 4. We're missing how many hours? Huh, kids? Right? It's one of those moments in class where everybody yells the answer because we all know we're missing 8 hours. But what if, this is just me and you talking here, but what if we're missing 11 hours? How would that, well, what would that mean? Let's get into it. What if we're actually missing 11 hours? We're going to talk about that. Let me say hello to everybody. E. DeSalva, welcome to Starlights. Hi. Hi, lovely. Lady D, good to see ya. Joyful, good to see you. Wildfire, she says, hello, everybody. Y'all, I'm feeling not as put together as normal. I had so many errands today. I've been running around like I'm crazy. Hello, I popped in on my iPhone, which is obviously the Chronicles account. Oh, okay, Interior. Thank you. Thank you for letting us. The Ropers. Wow. It's like a huge family reunion. That's great. I missed everybody. All right, so you guys, I got to get down to business. I got notes. Like, I just wrote it down. I didn't try to make sense of it. So I'm just going to share with you some of what has been in my head because it's starting to overflow, and I'm starting to tell people that don't even understand what I'm talking about. They've never heard of the Idaho 4, like, the postmaster. I got to get off my chest. I'm very passionate right now. I feel like the Idaho 4 are like pat me on the back and they're like, yes, go, 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 go. And so I'm really ramped up. I'm like, all right, I'm going to let it all go. I'm going to say what I think and what I feel. And we're just going to get it all out there. And what comes to mind first off the damn bat is that Brian Kohlberger would not have cleaned up a bloody footprint in front of Dylan's room. So he either has an accomplice or he didn't do it. Take that to court with you, Anne. Be like, look, your own. Oh, I just lost chat because I grabbed my mouse. Another Gemini trait. Okay. So I'm like full of it today. Hold on. Let me get chat back. What are you guys saying? I'm sorry. Authentic is passionate. Seriously, I've lost chat, y'all. Hold on. How do I get it back? I don't really know. Teach me. Okay. New window. We'll try a new window. I'm going to get connected back. Just a minute. I'm not doing this without you. Whoa, I have 2 lives. Oh, yeah. Okay. That's the one after this. So somebody asked me if I'm drunk because I speak funny. For those of you that don't know, I've had major dental work and I'm actually doing speech therapy to regain understanding how to talk now. So I'm not drunk, and that was rude, but love and light to you because you didn't know better. And I think I've got chat back. Where are my beautiful people? There you are. Hello, Gemini 65. Okay, back to I gotta get it out right because I don't want to run all night, and we got another live coming up where we're gonna break down 11 hours. Where do I get 11 hours from? Okay. Where is it? You know what? I'll just glance at my notes. It's all up here. It'll just roll off my tongue like, word salad here because it's already been processed. So my problem is that we have absolutely no proof of life from Xana or Ethan after the call to her dad is placed. Because who knows who ordered DoorDash? I can go into my son's room, and if I know how to unlock his phone, I can hit the button if he has the app, which I'm sure these kids did, and it will automatically order it and put my son's name on it, but he may never know I did it. So the phone is not me. So then I was like, wait a minute. Like, what the duck? Seriously, right? The shirt I have. Then, is it we have 2 things. Okay. The Jack D calls. How do we know that's Kaylee and Maddie? There's no voice. Number 1, could they have been after Jack D too and luring him over to get him as well? Number 3, could it have been Jack D doing that to establish an alibi? Could it have been the girls still alive? So I need to know what took place before the murders. And so we don't have proof of life after 1 o'clock in the morning at the minimum for Xana and Ethan. And then 2:37, I believe, don't quote me, somewhere around 2:30-ish, Olivia, Kaylee, her sister, said that's when the girls got home. Some camera picked them up, Potty and Murphy, toileting the dog. Now, ugh. If we took the surviving roommate DM's word, if we took it at face value, let's just put those cards on the table for a minute. Let's say she's given a close to factual story. Okay. So allegedly, she heard whimpering and she heard the voice heard someone say, they didn't yell it, they didn't scream it. She heard them say something to the effects, something, and then I'm here to help you. She heard them. And they were just talking. They were just talking. So, if you can hear me talking, can you hear this? I feel like I'm, in Ace Ventura, and I've got the sliding glass door solving the case. And he's like, they heard a scream. And then he shuts the door and you can't hear him scream. So if we're taking her at face value, if Ethan and Santa had already been taken out prior to anybody getting home, and unfortunately weren't quite dead, did the killer return and say that? To finish him back off? Now, this got me on my hair on my arms stood up when this came across my brain. So I was processing this. What if that happened? What if Ethan and Xana were taken out earlier? And then the girls get home. That would mean, logically, if that were true, and I'm just hypothetically walking theories, that would mean the killer stayed in this house. And if the killer stayed in this house, is that why we heard the rumor of, or it could have been in the PCA or whatever, I don't know, but I'm going to say a rumor because I can't remember where I heard it and the information's starting to get blurry. And some people say, I know for a fact. Well, facts require it to be exactly that way without a shadow of a doubt. And we don't talk facts here. We talk about theories. We talk about intuition, what may have occurred, and so forth. So, do your real research and form your own opinion. But that all being said, it would make sense. Stuff starts clicking. That somebody may have stayed behind, that already had a fit of rage, right? Because allegedly somebody said there's someone in here. So that implies like you went in a room and you saw movement. Because if you hear something, you're like, what was that? You don't say who was that. You don't name them as a person. They saw something that qualified it as a shadow, a form of someone in the room. It almost implies that the lights weren't on, right? So it's like somebody walks in a room and they see some shadow move and they see the outline tall enough to be a person. Maybe they passed in front of a window. Something that silhouettes something about them that says, hey, I saw you and I'm going to alert others. My brain's processing it and not like, did I see something, but there's someone in here. So that means somebody is laying in wait. Takes time. So if we took Dylan at face value, if we did, it could imply that she didn't get home until Ethan and Xana could no longer scream for help, but whimper. And if they're behind the door and the door can't be opened, they may have been crawling to get help. I wondered if that was Ethan, even in his fatal condition, trying to comfort her. Don't worry, I'm here to help in some way. I mean, you might say that if you know you're going to die and it's your girlfriend. I'm here to help. Don't worry, I'm here to help. I'll get this fixed, even though you know. So those are some of the things. So so let's get over a chat. All right, so Lorna brings up a good point. She says, I think, right, her opinion, I think Brian was summoned to bring or pick up something to get him there for the setup. Joyful said, it's DM's friend with the big truck. Okay. There's several big trucks. There's a white one and there's a black one. Right, Lorna. Now, I can't read that because it's too detailed. You know what I'm saying. There's a lot of rumors about how horrific the crime scene was and what may have occurred. See, and they say they verified the DoorDash guy. But I've often thought that Brian might have been the runner for like pot, pills, whatever, and coming to the college town and being a DoorDash for stash. And if that's the case, that could have just put him in the area. But then, is he really in the area? Because one of the pings puts him in the area, but since he has an alibi for that time, it doesn't count. So it's a malfunction of your machine. So if I'm talking science, you have junk because now I don't know when it's working and when it's not. So pings don't matter to me because you've already told me that the standard is compromised. The trust is broken that that is accurate, reliable information. So I would wipe it off the table. Okay, you guys, please don't get into detail. Please don't. That's not fair for those of us that don't want to read detail. Feel free to hit your friend up and put an email together or post it somewhere. But please, in chat, keep it very, very basic. Because if you get into detail, YouTube's going to flag you and then I won't know where you went because all of a sudden I just won't see you in chat. I'm just telling you, this gets reviewed. And I do sign a contract saying I will monitor. So I try. Hi, Virgo22. How are you? No need to apologize. I know you guys don't know the YouTube rules. YouTube is very strict, especially like they even have like a time frame that they review of the video for the first so many minutes to see. And so like at the beginning of the video, you can't swear, you'll get flagged. But at the end of the video where they don't watch it all the way, we could be swearing like sailors. Oh, I'm sorry. I know somebody might have asked, but even still, we can't. Just to protect each other. All right? Anyway, so let's get back into the Idaho 4. Let's get back into what if it isn't the girls that are calling Jack D? So, what if they're trying to lure Jack D over? But I don't think so. Here's what I have a problem with when it comes to Jack D. The biggest problem, the number one problem I personally have with not being able to resolve and letting go as a suspect in my mind, in my opinion. Because after allegedly 10 missed text messages and phone calls from the two girls, that's already got a red flag. But what doubled down is when I heard the interview and Kaylee's mama said, I tried calling everyone that morning because we found out through a friend, not even by the police. And she said that Kaylee might be dead. We tried calling blah, 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 and blah, 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 and Jack Devereaux multiple times, Jack D. And he never returned our call. What? What? Now let's back up and remember by 10:30 in the morning, Sigma Chi boys had been phoned in and were over there allegedly taking the pulse of Ethan, putting their DNA with an excuse to be there. Now let's back up even more. There was a guy that allegedly was gonna go to work, a college guy, and he knew, he says, well, quote unquote, well before 9 a.m., that there were 4 dead. First, he had heard stabbed. Then he heard it was an overdose. He missed work, didn't go to work, hung out with his brothers at the frat. and didn't even process any of this, tried to put it out of his mind, he said, until he heard Kim. And if you don't know who she is, she has a child that once attended that school. I don't know if the child does. Just gonna say a daughter. So he heard her talking, and he was like, "Wait a minute! How did we know that early in the morning? Wait a minute! How could we have known?" And he said that this is well before 9 when he opens his Snapchat, and it's filled in all the rooms or whatever they're called. So let's back it up a little bit more, right? So after everybody knows, we still don't get anybody to respond allegedly until 10:30 when the Sigma Chi hunter, and no, not the twin, I mean the triplet, but a different hunter, I guess, comes over and is allegedly Good question. E. DeSalva wants to know, where were K and M before the corner bar? I'd like to know that too. Uh-huh. I agree, Lorna. A lot of people know, but won't tell. Natural Healing believes many are involved. So let me look. The cleaned footprint. Did BK stay behind? Did Brian stay behind, get a scrub brush and a bucket and some cleaner and scrub a footprint outside of DM's room? Did Brian do that? God, am I channeling Nancy Grace? What the F? So if the killers decided to use Xana's phone, if they did, that scenario would then mean that the killer hit the DoorDash button, so it would give them a timeline obscurement, right? Obscure that timeline, and then do the same thing to the next set of victims, use the phone and they would have to know them personally to do all this, but use the phone again. And in fact, not just one, but both girls, right? So Xana's phone, Maddie's phone, Kaylee's phone. How perfect of the killers to do this, because it establishes a different timeline, right? When the dirty deed was probably already done by the time these calls were actually texted, or these texts were really texted. Hi, Tiffany Crockett. Deception dismantled. Oh my God, I never had saw Dirty South when I saw his pic. I've never felt the sick, depressing feeling I got. Oh, that's right. Lorna, you're so right, my lovely. Let me add on what Lorna's pointing out. So, everybody knows we have a Van shoe print. Maybe it's size 9, maybe it's size 10. And they had to use a chemical because it had been cleaned with a chemical to make it go away, a solvent to make it go away in front of DM's bedroom, right? So if Brian was there, if that was his car, and that's a big if, because remember, that's most likely a 2011 to a 2013 Hyundai Elantra white. Anyway, they only gave 8 minutes. So now he's got to kill all 4 people. And then, good thing he brought a backpack with a bucket and a scrub brush. Maybe that's why there's a dirty footprint. Maybe Brian was like, Miss, yeah, I had a little accident out here. I was killing 4 people and I put a bloody footprint down. I need a bucket and, like, I don't know, some sort of a scrubber. And bleach would be good. Miss, you in there? I'm not trying to make this funny. I'm just saying it's getting effing ridiculous. There's no way Brian cleaned up that footprint in front of her door. You will never convince me of that. That did not happen. And not in 8 minutes. There's your defense, Anne. Go. Go with it. Because to me, there's no way in hell that makes Brian the one that put the footprint. Because the only person, okay, if Brian put the footprint there and then somebody else cleaned it, why would they do that? They wouldn't. So Brian didn't put the footprint there because he didn't clean it, and nobody's going to clean it up for Brian. And it's a big clue. And why is it a clue? Because they tried to hide it. It's a blood. Whose blood? All 4's? Xana and Ethan's? The killers? Whose blood? Because that matters. Now, also, when you think about this shoe print, there's another one somewhere. And they cleaned it better. But I bet it could be found. I'd be interested to see Luminol and what really showed. What the real story was. I just saw a flash in my mind, and there was like help written in blood. That's probably my imagination. I find it interesting that at this point, a year later, we're really understanding how significant it was that Sigma Chi boys, the frat, were the first responders to the crime scene. What? Ethan had a fight that night with the Sigma Chi. I find it interesting that the Vandals are all about the Vandals. And another college guy did it. And it happens to be the rival college. Adam is JD's alibi. And JD is Adam's alibi. And I heard a rumor about parties that night. I'm just reading my notes, y'all. Deception Dismantled said, so, in my opinion, none of the frat are balls enough. They hired someone or got someone to do it. Oh, I disagree, but I respect your opinion, but I totally disagree. I was reading shit about the frats, even Sigma Chi, and it was at a different university, but it was a frat. They got accused of putting Xanax, Xanax, the drug, in a sorority's meet and greet. Anyway, so something important with all this theory that I've been, sharing with you. And I talk about the 11 hours instead of 8 because there's no proof of life that Xana was alive after she was done talking to Dad. We have no proof of life. And so that means 1 o'clock till 11, which is 10 hours. But it was after 11. It was actually closer to noon. So that's where I got my 11 hours. I find it interesting. It might make more sense that I might be on the right track because Ethan's mom, and these are the people I listen close to. And I read the energies of their morning, and it's hard, but I listen close. And she said the hardest time for her every night is at 2 a.m. Is at 2 a.m. And in my lifetime, I lost a little girl. She was 4. The mother wasn't watching her and she drowned. And I loved her very much. And I knew that she had passed pretty early in the morning. And then they told me the time, and that's private. But to this day, there are certain days where I have to pause and be like, damn. And I get it. So when the mother of the victim says it's a very hard at 2 a.m., I take that as a God honest truth. And that's why I don't believe it was BK either. Because I think this killer entered the home after the phone call, after 12:30ish. I think the killer attacked Ethan and Xana before anybody was home and left them not completely unalive. You know what I'm saying? I think they hid, and that's why you have that rumor of there's someone here because they were lurking when the girls got home. And I think the girls were killed immediately and thrown in their beds. I don't think they made it to their bed. Kaylee's bed was still made. And I think the killers, I say killers, I think there was 2 killers that killed the first set of victims, the first pair. And then the same 2 killers went upstairs and waited. The Roper says, I believe that too, Mama D. I don't know Deception Dismantled. I did not hear that. And I don't know who they is, but Tiffany Crockett says they've had too many deaths here in Texas during Hell Night for the pledges. Well, and Interior Family says, I definitely question the BK guilty and believe he is innocent. Right, Lorna. If you have the gift to discern spirits, you can tell when things happen. I think the dog was sedated. I do. I think the dog was familiar and was given a hot dog full of Benadryl. That would explain a lot. Let me see what this says. Just a minute. So Deborah Martina Lewis says Kaylee's parents were interviewed by Brian Enton, and they said they still don't have Kaylee's phone or wallet. When they said that, I thought maybe Kaylee's ID was taken by the killer. They said it wasn't anybody, it isn't one of the victims um, in the house that they had ID on or something. But I see what you're saying, that the killer kept the ID. Maybe as a souvenir, right? That could be. Natural Healing says in the grub truck, you can see number 9 put something in Maddie's mouth, and Maddie was pretty drunk. She took that pill from the kid that put in her mouth. Red flag. Could have been a pill. You see her feet kind of do that. Ooh, something weird. All right, my lovelies. It is time for us to get ready. I've got to clean all the desk up. We're going to do 11 hours. We're starting at 1 a.m. and we're going to 11 a.m. A little after 11. We're going to noon. It's 11 hours, so 1 a.m. to noon. So the book will not really apply what's on there, but it will. We're going to work it. We'll make it work. We're going to work it. It'll be a work in progress. Yeah, maybe go watch that grub truck footage again and see if something gets put in Maddie's mouth. I just want to know what energies were in that house at 1122 King Road during which hours. I need to see it. And that's one thing tarot can do, is give us energy reads. Oh, that's so great. We're going to end with this. I love you very much. I truly do. Thank you so much, my beautiful starlights. I almost sneezed or coughed. Sorry, you choked me up. Anyway, I love you very much. I truly do. From the moon and back. And the roper says, I love you all so much. I'm so glad to be here with all of you. I love you, Mama D. Peace out. I'll see you in 22 minutes. If I can reach it.